Hello and welcome to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie, and this week we are going to be focusing on comedies. So I'll turn it over to Jill and she can kick it off.
My first book is a new one. It's called A For Aunties by Jessie Sue Tonto. This is a hilariously quirky novel that is equal parts murder mystery, rom-com, and a celebration of mothers and daughters, as well as a deep dive into Chinese-Indonesian culture by debut author Jessie Q. Sutanto. It has 1 accidental murder, 2,000 wedding guests, 3 cursed generations, and 4 meddling Asian aunties to the rescue. So when Madeline Chan ends up accidentally killing her blind date, her meddlesome mother calls for even more meddlesome aunties to help get rid of the body. Unfortunately, a dead body proves to be a lot more challenging to dispose of than one might anticipate, especially when it is accidentally shipped in a cake cooler to an over-the-top billionaire wedding where Meddy, her ma, and aunties are working at an island resort on the California coastline. It's the biggest job yet for their family wedding business. Don't leave your big day to chance, leave it to the Chans, and nothing, not even an unsavory corpse, will get in the way of her auntie's perfect buttercream cake flowers. But things go from inconvenient to downright torturous when Meddy's great college love, the greatest heartbreak, makes a surprise appearance amid the wedding chaos. Is it possible to escape murder charges, charm her ex back in her life, and pull off a stunning wedding all in one weekend? Well, we find out with this book, Dial A for Aunties.
Sounds cute.
It's very funny.
And my first pick for today is Sorry Not Sorry by Sophie Ranald. It has a 3.75 rating on Goodreads. Charlotte has always been a good girl. She sorts her paper from her plastic. She eats her greens, even some of the ones that are a little suspect. Boozy brunches with her best friends on the 3rd Sunday of every month are about as bad as she gets. But being good is getting boring. Charlotte's not just stuck in a rut, she's buried in it up to her chin. The only company she has in bed is the back catalog of Netflix, and falling in love feels like the stuff of fairy tales. So when she stumbles across a popular podcast, Sorry Not Sorry, which challenges women to embrace their inner bad girls, she jumps at the chance to shake things up. Old Charlotte would never ask for a stranger's number, go on a blind date, or buy lacy lingerie, but new Charlotte is waving goodbye to her comfort zone with a side order of margaritas, and it turns out that good things happen to bad girls as Charlotte finally finds Mr. Right, or so she thinks. Fans of Sophie Kinsella and Matt Dunn will like this fabulously feel-good novel that will make you laugh till you cry and leave you living life to the full, margarita in hand.
That always makes things more fun. So my next one, you might be familiar with this author, Jenny Lawson. She also wrote this, Let's Pretend It Never Happened. It's a hilarious memoir. This is her new one, Broken in the Best Possible Way. As Jenny Lawson's hundreds of thousands of fans know, she suffers from depression. In Brooklyn, Jenny brings readers along on her mental and physical health journey, offering heartbreaking and hilarious anecdotes along the way. With people experiencing anxiety and depression now more than ever, Jenny humanizes what we all face in an all too real way, reassuring us that we are not alone, and making us laugh while doing it. From the business ideas that she wants to pitch to Shark Tank to the reason why Jenny can never go back to the post office, Broken leaves nothing to the imagination in the most satisfying way. And of course, Jenny's long-suffering husband, Victor, the Ricky to Jenny's Lucille Ball, is present throughout. A treat for Jenny Lawson's already existing fan and destined to convert new ones, Broken is a beacon of hope and a wellspring of laughter when we need it the most. So even though it's about depression, it's still funny. So
My second pick actually came from one of our patrons as a recommendation. It's Dog on It by Spencer Quinn. This has 3.87 rating on Goodreads. If you're a dog lover, this may be the book for you. Meet Chet, the wise and lovable canine narrator of Dog on It, who works alongside Bernie, a down-on-his-luck private investigator. Chet might have flunked out of police school, but he's a detective through and through. In this, their first adventure, Chet and Bernie investigate the disappearance of Madison, a teenage girl who may or may not have been kidnapped, but who has definitely gotten mixed up with some very unsavory characters. A well-behaved, gifted student, she didn't arrive home after school, and her divorced mother is frantic. Bernie is quick to take the case, something about a cash flow problem that Chet's not at all clear about, and he's relieved, if vaguely suspicious, when Madison turns up unharmed with a story that just doesn't add up. With his doggy ways and his enduringly hard-boiled voice, Chet is full of heart and occasionally prone to mischief. He is intensely loyal to Bernie, who, though distracted by issues that Chet has difficulty understanding, like divorce, child custody, and other peculiar human concerns, is enormously likable himself in this flawed, all too human way. So this book, again, told entirely from the perspective of Chet, the adorable furry four-pawed delight.
That sounds fun. I like things from a dog's point of view. So my next one is a collection of essays. It's called You Can't Touch My Hair and Other Things I Still Have to Explain by newcomer Phoebe Robinson. This is a hilarious and affecting essay collection about race, gender, and pop culture from a celebrated stand-up comedian and podcaster, Phoebe Robinson. Phoebe Robinson is a stand-up comic, which means that often her everyday experience become points of comedic fodder. And as a black woman in America, she maintains sometimes you need to have a sense of humor to deal with the absurdity you are handed on the daily. Robinson has experienced her fair share over the years. She's been unceremoniously relegated to the role of the black friend, as she is somehow the authority of all things racial. She's been questioned about her love of U2 and Billy Joel, because isn't that white music? She's been called uppity for having an opinion on the workplace. She's been followed around stores by security guards, and yes, people do ask whether they can touch her hair all the time. Now she's ready to take these topics to the page, and she's going to make you laugh while she's doing it. Using her trademark wit and alongside pop culture references galore, Robinson explores everything from why Lisa Bonet is the Queen Bey Jesus, to breaking down the terrible nature of casting calls, to giving her less than traditional advice to the future female president, and demanding that the NFL clean up its act, all told in the same conversational voice that launched her podcast, Two Dope Queens, to the top of iTunes. As personal as it is political, You Can't Touch My Hair examines our cultural climate and skewers our biases with humor and heart, announcing Robinson as a writer on the rise.
Not familiar with her.
Me neither. She's got a podcast.
My third pick is Surprise Me by Sophie Kinsella, 3.43 rating on Goodreads. In no particular order, this book is about marriage, love, sex, Fitbits, surprises, shocks, Battersea Park, parents, death, life, old friends, new friends, misunderstandings, fear, and bravery. After being together for 10 years, Sylvie and Dan have all the trimmings of a happy life and marriage. They have a comfortable home, fulfilling jobs, beautiful twin girls, and they communicate so seamlessly they finish each other's sentences. However, a trip to the doctor reveals they could live another 68 years together, and panic sets in. They never expected until death do us part to mean 7 decades. In the name of marriage survival, they quickly concoct a plan to keep their relationship fresh and exciting. They will create little surprises for each other so that their extended years will never become boring. But in their pursuit to execute Project Surprise Me, mishaps arise and secrets are uncovered that start to threaten the foundation of their unshakable bond. When a scandal from the past is revealed, some untold truths come present, and they begin to wonder if they ever really knew each other after all. So, sounds like a fun read. This was recommended by one of my girlfriends.
Sophie Kinsella, I think a lot of times she comes up with comedy.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
funny books. My next one is The Wangs versus the World by Jade Chang. This is also a debut novel. I like debut novels because I think there's more heart in them. It's a debut novel about a wealthy but fractured Chinese immigrant family that had it all, only to lose every last cent, and about a road trip they take across America that binds them back together. Charles Wang is mad at America, a brash, lovable immigrant businessman who built a cosmetics empire and made a fortune. He's just been ruined by the financial crisis. Now all Charles wants is to get his kids safely stowed away so that he can go to China and attempt to reclaim his family's ancestral lands and his pride. Charlie pulls Andrew, his aspiring comedian son, and Grace, his style-obsessed daughter, out of schools he can no longer afford. Together with their stepmother, Barbara, they embark on a cross-country road trip from their foreclosed Bel Air home to the upstate New York hideout of his eldest daughter, disgraced art world it girl, Sana. But with his son waylaid by temptress in New Orleans, his wife already to defect for a set of 1,000 thread count sheets in an epic smash-up in North Carolina, Charles may have to choose between the old world and the new, keeping his family intact and finally fulfilling his dream of starting anew in China. Outrageously funny and full of charm, The Wangs versus the World is an entirely fresh look at what it means to belong in America and how going from glorious riches to still name brand rags brings one family together in a way money never could.
My fourth pick today is Sorry, I'm Late, I Didn't Want to Come by Jessica Pan. This one is actually in our nonfiction section. It has a 3.93 rating on Goodreads. What should happen if a shy introvert lived a gregarious extrovert for 1 year? If she knowingly and willingly put herself in perilous social situations that she'd normally avoid at all costs? Jessica Pan is going to find out in this book. When she found herself jobless and friendless, sitting in the familiar just-shaped crease on her sofa, she couldn't help but wonder what life might have looked like if she had been a little more open to new experiences and new people. A little less attached to going home instead of going to the pub. So she made a vow, push herself to live the life of an extrovert for 1 year. She wrote a list: improv, a solo holiday, talking to strangers on the tube. She regretted it instantly. This book follows Jess's hilarious and painful year of misadventures and extroverting, reporting back from the front lines for all the introverts out there. But is life actually better or easier for the extroverts? Or is the nightmare Jess always thought it would be? I'll have to read the book to find out. This one sounded interesting to me.
I've had that on my list. As an introvert, that sounds like torture. So my next one is a graphic novel, and the title kind of cracks me up. The Gigantic Beer That Was Evil by Stephen Collins. And the tagline on it is, the job of skin is to keep it all in. So this is for the graphic novel fans. It does have a lot of drawings in it, so, of the beard. On the button-down island of Here, all is well, by which we mean orderly, neat, contained, and moreover, beardless. Or at least it is until one famous day when Dave, bald but for a single hair, finds himself assailed by a terrifying, unstoppable monster. Dave is the most fastidious of them all. He loves drawing, his desk job, and the bangles, until his life is upended by an unstoppable yet pretty impressive beard. Where did it come from? How should the Islanders deal with it? And what, most importantly, are they going to do with Dave? The first book from a new leading light of UK comics, The Gigantic Beard That Was Evil, is an offbeat fable worthy of Roald Dahl. It is about life, death, and what it means to be different. It is also a timeless ode to the art of beard maintenance. So, yep, this would be a quick read, and I think it's got to be funny.
My last pick for today is No, I Don't Want to Join a Book Club. Diary of a 60th Year by Virginia Ironside. This has a 3.12 rating on Goodreads. And yes, we do want you to join our book clubs at the library, but this silly novel is about letting go of youth and embracing the sassy curmudgeon within. Don't harass her about parasailing or taking Italian language courses. Forget about suggesting she joins the gym. Marie Sharp may be a little creaky in the bones as she heads toward the big 6-0, but she's fine with it. She would rather do without all the moving to Florida, bicycling across Mongolia for the hell of it hoopla that her friends insist upon. She's already led an exciting life. She came of age in the 1960s, after all. Now, with both a new grandchild and a new man on the horizon, all she wants to do is make the most of what she considers the most interesting stage of her life. In this novel, based on the author's own experiences, No, I Don't Want to Join a Book Club, is the funny and often poignant fictionalized diary of an older woman, a decade or two past her prime and content to leave it all behind her. So don't tell her to take a gourmet cooking class, and whatever you do, don't you dare tell her to join a book club. Fresh and truly unique, it moves gracefully through the years, and it's hilarious in this grandma's take on the third phase of life. I also had a couple other recommendations that came up. I put it out on Facebook to ask friends and family what favorite comedies were, and the most popular response was the Stephanie Plum series by Janet Ivanovich. Staff and friends all recommended this. Her first book was One for the Money, published back in 1994 already, and I think her 28th is scheduled to be released later this year, so I've just got her Look Alive 25, but Stephanie Plum series. Another one that came up a couple of times was the Fannie Flagg books, Fried Green Tomatoes. People love the Fannie Flagg books. And then there's one that came up, which was a Pulitzer Prize winner, which was recommended last by Andrew Greer. So those are just a few other comedies you may want to check out.
Well, thanks for watching. We hope that we helped you find your next read.
Till we see you next time. Next week we'll be switching back to nonfiction. We'll be in the 200 section of the nonfiction, so we hope you join us. Thanks and happy reading, everybody.
Bye.